church. He is the steeple. Count the days. Here's the church. Here's the steeple. Here's a motherfucker that I gotta blow away. Here's my chance to cure the ills of the people, but not until I make this motherfucker pay. And baby, I count the days. I count the days. Here's the interview. Here's the time. If I keep your secrets, will you keep mine? If we hurry, we can catch a train. If it was left up to you, I would die in pain. That's why I count the days.
Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night hump day edition. Baby, I count the days, people over politics. What it do, what it do? My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the host of Outlaw Radio, the world-class smartass, the Negro whisperer, the militant with a microphone, a.k.a. just who I am. I don't portray to be anything bigger or less than who I actually am. So welcome to the show. Not alone, got my co-host with me, Mr. Carter. What's popping with you tonight?
Peace. Life is what's popping as always. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, brother, there goes the Seymour's way! Y'all better come on in. Bring your ass up the House of Vitality.
Yeah, man, get with this, brother. Support black business, no matter where you at. Support black people, period. Foundational Black Americans stand up. 414 stand up. Black people in Milwaukee stand up. Great time to be alive. A lot happening. A lot to talk about. My job will never be done because I'm a linguist, right? And so I talk. And so there's always something to talk about. And if you want to be involved in this conversation that we are about to have, the phone number is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. And we have a chat room which pops all the time. And a lot of people who don't want to necessarily call in get in the chat room. And it's interactive. So this is a show for foundational Black Americans. I don't know how many times I have to say when people ask me, well, what is Outlaw Radio? Outlaw Radio is a show basically about foundational Black Americans and how we feel and how we move and how we think. People who are the descendants of those slaves, of those sharecroppers, of those disenfranchised, downtrodden, mistreated, exploited, ostracized people from the South, Southern America, via Jim Crowism, via slavery, whatever you call it, up to now. So we represent that. So when you hear they not like us, that's what it really means. And we have a thing with that. It's a real thing. It's a real thing about who we are right now. And I've been saying for a very long time, America created one real cultural kind of identity. I want to say race, but it's deeper than race. and that is foundational Black Americans. Listen, if your grandparents came over here from Germany or Poland or Russia or Ireland, and they sat on Ellis Island and then came into America, they're immigrants. They're not Americans. If your people were taken from a place to another place, scattered, beat down, enslaved, disillusioned, discounted, and told, get it how you live, then you are a Black American, and that is unique. There's no Black people in England. There's Africans in England, unless it's some people from America who went over there. Black people only come from America. When will y'all accept that? So I said all that to say the hot button topic right now is about my sister who came here, Kamala Harris, and I'm not saying she's my sister in that kind of reverence. I'm saying as a person of color, she is my sister. We're going to get to that. We're on Mondays. We're on Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, to where we choose to cut the machine off simply because we own the machine. Now, we were a little late tonight, so forgive me. I was trying to check my son's results from the Junior Olympics down in Texas. So I was trying to rock with that and trying to catch his times. But, man, this is going to be a great conversation. There's a lot going on. Mr. Carter, how you feeling tonight? You muted.
No, I was saying I feel great, man. I feel great.
There you go. There you go.
On time for the show, you know what I'm saying? Well rested. We here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so much to talk about, and I love it. I love when Black people have to have difficult conversations out loud. And I'm not saying that everything you get from the media or social media or even word of mouth is always 100% actual factual. What I'm saying is the fact that it's being discussed and put into the air, put into the atmosphere is very important. So we start to talk about our identity, who we are. The name of the show is People Over Politics. Okay? People over politics, because I want to put this whole presidential election into proper perspective for people of color. And I know that there's a lot of sidebars. I know that there's a lot of what we define as variables. I see the same thing that my people see. My nose is always in the air. My ears always to the ground. I'm always trying to figure out what my people talking about. So when we talk about this presidential race, there's a lot of variables that have to be discussed. We're going to talk about some of them on a little bit more of an finite level tonight, because we talked about them just surface on Monday, because there were some accusations made and some people said certain things. Me, myself, I follow up with what you say. I'm going to see if I was right or if you was right, or if maybe we were both right. Not you, Kamar, but people in general. So share the show, share Outlaw Radio, People Over Politics, subscribe to the YouTube page, all that good stuff. So, but first of all, I want to talk about something that's, it's in my craw, as they say. It's bothering me. And unfortunately, see, I usually keep my mind straight by not clicking on certain things on social media. Some things I scroll past, some things I might look at and say, And I made the mistake today of watching some footage, some police footage of the murder of the sister, Sonia Massey, in Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois. It's not Illinois, it's Illinois. Did you see this? You seen this footage?
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta start off talking about that. Because once again, we got all these individuals who want our vote, correct? They want to pander to us and whatnot. But I hear nobody talking about law enforcement reform. Yet and still in 2024, the sacrifice or waste of Black life still is just a very, very consistent thing. Prior to this racist ass white Juneteenth day that we defined as the Republican National Convention, a brother was murdered by security guards at the Hyatt, 4 of them, Hyatt Regency Hotel. And then a brother was murdered by Columbus, Ohio police, miles away from where the fucking convention actually happened at. And then now we see this sister Sonia Massey. First of all, before I even go into the details of it, Kamar, I want to get your initial reaction upon, because you heard the story, we read it, and then they say watch the video. Did you what was your reaction upon first viewing this?
I mean, I couldn't. Okay, I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to say that. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? I did, or maybe how about I didn't want to believe it? I think that's more of the
Okay.
thing. I didn't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because like watching the whole video, I felt like I was seeing so many wrongs being done by the police. First of all, they told her, they came, they checked her house, everything was good. At that point, they should have left. You know what I'm saying? Why are you still even questioning her, asking her name? How do you wind up in her house? Asking about her ID and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I hate how the police just poke and dig and ask all these fucked up, stupid ass questions until they find a reason to really fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, she called the police for some help, not for them to come fuck with her and question her. I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt by that.
I wouldn't say that I'm hurt, but I'm
I am.
really upset. I'm really upset. My reaction, and I understand why you'd be hurt, but I'm saying my reaction was more being upset because of, like you stated correctly, she actually called the police. Now, keep in mind that we have a situation in the United States of America where, unfortunately, Black people have had several incidents where they actually called the police, and then the police came and ended up murdering them.
Right.
Right? So
Fuck.
let's put that out there. And then secondly, the whole thing when they came, I kind of felt like there were some mental health issues here. I don't know that to be factual, but the way she conversed with them it seemed like something was
Right.
missing. Like there may have been
She
some
was
sort of mental
drinking.
health issues.
I felt like either she was drunk or it was some kind of mental health issue. And even still, either you know what I mean, when they told her, they checked their surroundings, they walked around the house, ain't nobody out there. She said, "Okay, thank you. I just wanted somebody to come out here and help me," or something like that. She said they should have left at that point.
Well, from what it looked like, because I watched timestamp video, they actually left, and there was a mysterious, I don't say mysterious, but there was an SUV in her driveway that looked kind of suspicious. I should say suspicious, not mysterious. I'm sorry. A suspicious SUV in which they engaged in questioning her about. Now, if you watch the video, the way she's kind of reacting when they're asking her about it seems like I said, either or like you said, either there was some intoxication, some chemical things, or and we say that, but what we got to look at is we don't know what medication she's been prescribed if she had mental health issues. So you go from that to the fact that there's a pot of water boiling on the stove, and the cop, and we're gonna get to this fake ass cop, we're gonna get to this punk ass cop, right? This deputy, whatever the fuck he wants to consider himself. There, he questions her about the water, and they say, well, there's a boiling pot of water on the stove, we don't need the house to burn down. She goes to the stove to get the water. He gets on alert all just instantaneously, and says, you know, what you doing with the water? She says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I felt like that was her attempt at kind of lightening the mood. He said, don't you say that, and he reacted. She then threw the water in the sink or on the floor, wherever. She dropped the pot of water. She tried to duck down behind like a wall type thing, sofa, whatever it was. And when she peeked, when she looked up, he shot her 3 times in the face. Once again.
Hey, let's go back to the truck, right? She called the police because she had a problem. She was worried about something outside her house. They need to go figure out something about that truck, not her. She
They were
just said she heard something out there. If something's going on with that truck, she don't know about it.
they were
You know what I mean?
questioning
I'm just
her.
saying, where it go, they should have never wound up in their house. I'm
They were
telling you, it's a problem outside. If you see a suspicious truck outside, you go out there and find out about it.
when they
Go
questioned
run the
her,
brakes on it. Do whatever the fuck you got to do.
when they questioned her about the truck, her response was, "They left it here." And they said, "Who?" They said, "It just got here." She said, "They left it here." That was her answer.
Right.
It wasn't clear. Whatever. First of all, let me say this. I told you about the truck because I'm giving people what actually happened, and this is based on what I
Right.
saw. But I want to say this unequivocally. I don't give a fuck if it was a semi truck with 20 dead bodies in the driveway. If she was part of that, she should have been arrested or she should have been detained and taken down for due process. The fact that she ends up getting shot, listen, 3 times in the face over some boiling water. Let me catch my chat room. Shout out to Sharon Evans. How you doing, my sister? Y'all share this show, please. Please, people call in. Let us know. Sharon Evans said it's heartbreaking, just sad. It's deplorable. It's oh my gosh. It's heinous. It's egregious. It's despicable. Oh, this is. Ooh, let me calm down because we got a lot of show to go. Come on. I don't want to get too excited too early. People over politics. Wednesday night, hump day edition of Outlaw Radio. The number is 262-202-5131. Get in the chat room if you want to get in this conversation. Carrie Walker Jones, how you doing, my sister? She says that she was having a mental crisis. Okay. I'm just digging in these. I'm just starting to dig into these details. So if you have things that have come out later or something like that I don't know, please advise me. I'm into learning. Carrie Walker says the water had boiled out and she ran water in the pot, which meant it was no longer boiling water. Huh. Earl Henning said killer is what he is. Carrie Walker Jones says her father also says she had a history of mental illness. There we go. Voila. Okay. So allegedly the individual who was murdered at the Hyatt had mental health issues. Allegedly the individual who was murdered on Valete by the Columbus, Ohio Nazi Gestapo secret police, he had mental health issues. And this sister had mental health issues. There's a common denominator here. So since it is election season, why are we not now demanding, which we have in the past, and we've been given a stiff arm of law enforcement reform, the immunity that officers enjoy? Okay. The fact that they can take somebody's life and not be prosecuted. Right now, he has been charged with first-degree homicide. He has been charged. Okay. And I seen in Chicago, they had the horses out, they had the trucks out, they had everybody out there was ready for people to just really get buck. But he has been arrested. He has been charged. He's already been dismissed. And he has a history of just kind of floating around, being a law enforcement officer at all these different law enforcement entities. And he was released, and the reasons for his releases are very vague. Once again, this is who they're hiring to police our communities. The whole selection process is fuckery, right? With the security guards, we have to establish some liabilities. We have to make sure people can assume. People have to start taking accountability for the liability, I should say. People need to be held accountable, whether it be an organization, whether it be your city, your state, your village, your county. When this kind of thing happens, We need legal processes in place that will make this a very fluid and efficient process. Boom, charged, convicted, incarcerated. That's what we need to start doing.
Just like
Okay.
they do niggas when they go to court. When niggas go to court, they do that fast track court shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Lock them up, throw the fucking key away,
Right.
quick.
Right. He walk in the chat room. I see you, homie. He said, "What it do? How you doing, man?" Dion's in the chat room. He said he called her a crazy bitch when the other cops came to the house. Well, I seen him immediately. What I noticed about this Nazi was immediately after he murdered her in the conversation with his partner, he was saying, she came at me with some boiling water. What really tripped me out, I guess, well, it didn't trip me out. I guess it was kind of what I think this thing is the other cop expressed no kind of, see, if I'm standing there, I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man?
Right.
What's wrong with you? Cuz he expressed this kind of like, well, you know, he said, go get a med kit. Well, you shot her in the face. She had a head wound. It was blood. Well, at least stop the breathing. This video gets so gruesome that when they do finally go up on her, he says she's still kind of huffing a little bit, gasping a little bit, he says. His partner, to me, his partner should be an accomplice. Like, there's no way we go from you called the police because you were scared and you end up cowering behind a barricade, a couch, whatever, and you get shot 3 times in the face. When the fuck are these elected officials gonna really start talking about police and law enforcement reform? I mean, you adjust and change and update and do all this kind of thing. Start looking at these what are we really giving these individuals who get these jobs psychological evaluations? Are we looking at who we're putting out here? Are we checking in on them every now and then and say, hey man, you need to sit down for a while. You've been in the field too long. You done seen too much shit. Your mind is fucking off. There needs to be more of that, man. Dion says, the whole situation with police around the country is that we are not looked upon as human beings, and that stems from slavery. He said it stems from slavery. Let's think about that statement. What we've been talking about here, Kamar, is individuals with mental health issues. So I would say a bigger problem is it stems from lack of proper training, because you should be able to recognize when individuals with mental health issues are having an episode. Now, people say, Kev, they don't care. That's the point. Fuck the training. It doesn't matter. If you're black, they're going to kill you anyways. Well, that's a problem we need to dissect too. But we all know that our military, as well as you know, our police departments and law enforcement have been infiltrated by white supremacists. I mean, how many cops have you encountered that are straight up stormtroopers? The unfortunate part of it is I've probably dealt with more bad black cops. Like some of my I've had no, like, I've never gotten beat by the police. But in my interactions with them, more often than not, the person who was the most habitual line stepper was the black cop.
Black police showing out for the white cop.
Right. So it's just like, yo, what's wrong with this cat? You know what I mean? Like, so y'all get with us. We already got the chat room popping. Kerry Walker Jones said, I deal with it daily. And what it all boils down to is how lazy the cop is in their interpretation of the mental health laws. The mental health community could be served better if the people in place chose to deal with them properly. There are so-called mental health teams for every county, but it's all about passing the buck and dodging the issues. Yes, and when it comes to us, like the murder of us, anytime one of us is involved, it becomes so smooth. It becomes so dismissible. Oh, yeah. And you got a lot of prosecutors, DAs around the country who don't want to charge law enforcement officers because they feel like it will set a bad precedence and render cops, or I should say officers, it will make them basically confused and they won't know how to really be a cop or really enforce the law if we take their right away. So that means if I start prosecuting cops for killing people, then cops will say, well, shit, I can't really be a cop then. So like we had this whole thing after George Floyd where, and I don't know how true this was, but I heard it from a lot of people where crime just kind of went through the roof and you didn't see a whole heavy police presence. And people were saying, well, the cops are now just falling back. Now they're like, fuck that. I ain't got time. And I was like, really? Is that how cops are really operating? So this is a very important question that we need to sit down with the Tangerine King and Kamala. We need to sit down with them and say, man, what the fuck y'all gonna do about this fucked up ass law enforcement shit? It's bad enough that the court system is flawed. But from the rooter to the tutor, the arresting officers have issues. You are a police officer. Your job is to detain and deliver. You're a slave catcher. Your job is to catch the bad guys and take them to the precinct. Their job is to process them and send them to a place that they can stay, like the county, until they go to trial. And then the court's job is to sentence them and place them and wherever they're going to be. Okay. These cops, no, I'm not here to do that. I'm having court today with my Glock. This shit like this. I thought the Rodney King shit was like some of the worst shit I'd ever see. This shit is worse.
Yeah.
And you ain't ready for it. If you ain't seen it and you watch it, you're gonna go, oh shit. I mean, Kamar, I had myself braced because I knew something was gonna happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it actually, I said, what the fuck? I said it out loud. I said, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, man. Earl Henny says mental health problems and it gives you a gun and make you a cop. Well, I think, people got to understand your brain's capacity for, dealing with shit or seeing certain shit. So if you're a longtime officer in the field and you're steadily murder scenes and car accidents and fires and, you see all kinds of mutilated corpses and dead bodies and just fatal wounds and injuries. I think there should be a process in which we go through these officers and say, hey, man, we're going to rotate you out the field and you got to go through this mandatory battery of counseling and therapy. Like, I really think that should happen because a lot of times when these officers do things, you find out that they have a long record of the shit, right? Like you said, this motherfucker should have been off the streets. So, man, I tell you, the only way to do this is, like I said, to hit them where it hurts. You start hitting everybody in the pocketbook because police departments should have to carry a certain amount of insurance so that if they take someone's life and it's found to be, what they define as a bad shoot, there's culpability. The MPD, their insurance has to pay. And then the officer's personal shit. See, I say, when you start telling cops, you kill somebody and you get sued, you losing your house, you losing your pension, you losing your cars, your family. I think then they say, shit, hold on. Hold on before I shoot this motherfucker.
Start doing this shit by the book.
Yeah, because this shit like cost me, right? I like riding my Harley Davidson in Harley Day in Milwaukee. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Look, I'm never encouraging people to go out and do something stupid, right? Like, don't jump out the gym and think, I'm going to throw a motherfucker. I'm going to burn something down. And I said that because he's arrested and charged already, right? If you watched what happened in 1992 in Los Angeles, what happened, officers were let off the hook, right? That's when the riot, that's when they said, man, fuck this. So let's save all the shit until we see if justice will be swift. There's no way it should be like broken down to manslaughter. There's no reason he should be given any kind of excuse or reprieve. Like Kamar said, it should be just as swift as the justice that they enact upon us when we go into the courtroom. Because when we get to court, everybody at work that day, we finna send us a nigga the fuck up the river, right? So I'm hoping, man, and you just got it, as that's what you get as a black person in this country. You're always just hoping. You're just hoping, like, man. I mean, when I saw Philando Castile years back, I thought that was a pretty clear case. It was a totally unjustified. Like, it was one of the most, and the fact that George Floyd came after that, right? Like, and so I'm looking at this now, like, okay, it started off with the brother at the Hyatt. It went to the homeless brother on Valit. Now it's the sister down there. What's next? What's next? So every time, look, as I transition to talking about Sister Kamala Harris, I seen her, and look, she has reinvigorated this whole thing. I don't care what you say, Kamar. We, once again, are the harbingers of truth, okay? Because we were saying, first of all, that this is what should have happened, whether it was he ran, won, and handed it off to her, but if he was going to step down, hand it to her. Not a big time fan of Kamala Harris, but you cannot deny the energy, the reinvigoration that she's put into this thing. Look, you got people mad at black men because black men said shit, black women ain't gonna beat us. What they just raised 1.5 million for. Okay, she's got enough delegates to get the nomination, and in all their polls, which we never know how accurate they really are, she's up on Trump. For all you motherfuckers who say, there's no way she can beat Trump, no, that ain't gonna happen. She's up on him, right? White women in West Dallas was cheering for a sister named Kamala. I don't care. You can be as anti-Kamala, because we know we gonna get into the anti. You can be as anti as you want, but it sure as hell felt good to see that sister get that kind of ovation. Once again, here in Milwaukee, West Dallas, Milwaukee, how we become the hot spot? We got the RNC, we got this. Like, she comes here first, okay? And so it felt good to see people say, whoo, shit. My personal theory is that a lot of people who were not going to vote, in particular women of color, are now going to vote. Trump knows it's an issue. He knows it's a motherfucking problem. John Fletcher, our sponsor from EPU Personal Defense.
What up, Fletch?
Go to that website, EPUSDS.com. Learn how to throw them things, baby. Learn how to defend yourself. He said, what up, Outlaw family? He cannot get out of this when his ass is done. Earl Henny said, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. In Wisconsin, in White Wisconsin. That's very true. We got truth and sentencing up here. So it should be the same kind of principality applied to this cop down in Illinois. 1, 2, 3, you gone. This is open and shut, bruh. The heartbreaking thing is going to be in court, her family being subjected to having to watch this footage and maybe over and over and look at diagrams of it and look at the scene. Or like, that's going to be the sad part, because I promise anybody, when you see this shit, it blows you the fuck away. You know, no pun intended. It really hits you hard, because you say, wait a minute, what? Wait, what the fuck just happened? It's crazy. But I done some research into, just a little research, nothing too deep, on Sister Kamala's record as the Attorney General and prosecutor out in Cali, and I seen some things that she done. Honestly, I have to say they were pretty good. She went after corporate colleges. She won a lawsuit for citizens who were being overcharged. She went hard on pedophiles. There's some missteps along the way, because number one, there was a brother killed, and in the same kind of fashion, by a police officer out in California, and they were begging, even the local district attorney was begging for her to bring charges against this officer, and she did not. And like I said, but no, most district attorneys, especially here in Milwaukee, a law enforcement officer has never been charged. I think maybe one time it was a brother who had a very bad day. But so she wasn't anything that was different. Now, on morally, if we're talking about, because one of the white guys, one of these racist MAGA right-wing political cats said, he said, he called her the Haktua girl. Spit on that thing, girl. He said that's how she made her way to the top. I said, see, once we start talking bad on our sisters, once we start talking bad on our brothers, everybody else feels comfortable to be as disrespectful as they fucking can. He called her the Haktua girl. This is a sister who has been the attorney general, the district attorney. She is a lawyer. She is actually right now the vice president of the United States. She ain't Haktua you. It's they do this kind of shit. I just hope black people are paying attention to what's going on. Kerry Walker Jones, you are exactly right. She said they quit worrying about her twat and who she slept with, can be all right. Twat is an old school word, y'all. If somebody used twat, they OG. Ewok said, we don't even got to worry about this one. The officer is toast. He has zero defense for this. That's what I thought about the cops who beat up Rodney King, though, Ewok. I mean, that's the beginning of this camera on my shoulder out in public. It's funny that anybody who beat somebody up, like the guys football, what's his name? Football and his guys on Normandy, which when they snatched Reginald Denny out the truck, they all got prosecuted to the fullest and did time. The cops who actually set this whole shit off basically walked. They was exonerated. I hope justice prevails over here. I don't even just say Scarface say justice is blind. We need to buy that bitch some glasses. Kerry Walker said, I did too, and her record was impeccable. She didn't incarcerate thousands of black men for weed. I keep telling people, stop jumping on anything that you think is the hottest, latest, greatest. Go and look for yourself, okay? Now, there's some viable criticism of her. I mean, anytime we're talking about somebody who's participating in, incarcerating us or not advocating for us in the way that we feel like they should. But I think also, too, you got to keep in mind that people usually have a limited understanding of how shit works in the first place. So sometimes they don't understand why, certain things happen the way they do. I'm just saying, and we get to Umar, who's mad, and he's talking about she married a white man. See, that to me was the shittiest argument that you could have for saying, I won't vote for her because she married a white man. Clarence Thomas is the original Uncle Tom. He married to a white woman. He's been sitting on the Supreme Court having pivotal votes in pivotal cases and precedent-setting cases forever. Motherfuckers ain't talking about he got a white wife, though. Your favorite basketball player whose shoes that you wear, that's a black man, has a white wife. Your favorite football player, your favorite actor has a white wife. You still go see his movies. I get it. We talk about bad wenches on here all the time, and we talk about Sambos, brothers who cross the line. For me, Kamar, this stays on looking at the big picture. It to me is really about, I'm not worried about who she married to. I ain't worried about who she screwed. I know one thing. I haven't heard her say nearly as many asinine things as I've heard Donald Trump say. You could bring up who she screwed, but this dude just got part of his case where he got convicted was because he was popping off a porn star and paying her hush money out of his campaign money. So we worried about her fucking with Willie in San Francisco? Like, stop, y'all. Stop doing that. It's time to get on code. I just said people over politics, right? That's the name of the show tonight. That's how we rocking. And I said that because I believe that the power, that whatever power that there is to be had, lies in the people, plural. And we should not allow ourselves to be governed by some preset, pre-thought out, pre-dictated ideologies and methodologies from a two-party system. I'm conservative, I'm progressive, I'm middle of the road. All that shit's bullshit, right? We shouldn't allow those two parties. We should be looking at this and saying, what's right and what's wrong? Is there such thing as right and wrong in America anymore? Come on, you tell me. I don't know. Is there such thing as right and wrong now? Or are we just living in these kind of like ambiguous times where it's just cool?
These days, a lot of what's right is wrong, and what's wrong is really right.
Ain't that twisted?
You know what I mean? Like, really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it used to be cool to be smart. Now it's cool to be stupid and don't know shit.
Okay. There used to be such a thing.
I hate society right now, man.
There's such a thing as there used to be, and this is a old school kind of thing where you did what you did, but you kept your business to yourself. You know, you kept your business over here. Whatever you was doing, you did it with those individuals that were in your circle. You didn't involve other people, try to influence other people. You just moved and you said it's because I'm telling you, people been freaky and nasty for a very long time, right? People been gay for a very long time. People have been indulging in debauchery for a very long time, but it wasn't a mainstream thing that we showed to children or that we tried to influence people or groom people to get involved with. This society, if anything else, is, for me, guilty for the way we market shit that's deplorable. Like we sell bad behavior. It's commoditized. Look at, I mean, I'm not trying to be this old dude that just is bitter and mad about anything, but look at some of the TV shows we watch. I watch in particular. I don't know what you all watch. I watch, usually I'm going to watch something with some violence in it. And I see, like, what I don't watch is the celebration of the old drug dealers. Like, I'm not really happy about watching BMF or Power or these stories about somebody who sold metric tons of crack cocaine in my community and was just unbelievably rich. And he's the hero of the show. I watched Snowfall because I kind of knew where Snowfall was going, right? You know what I mean? And one thing about Snowfall is, as they did more and more damage to the community, it was examined on the show, right? Like the characters would walk out and look around and say, what the fuck have I done? Like, look at my neighborhood, right? Like, look at my family.
I like Snowfall because they wasn't glorifying it so much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, in the beginning, you would think that, but then you start seeing the dark side to the shit.
You start seeing that thing kind of seduce and change everybody who was involved. All of a sudden, it's family against family. You know, Franklin just totally, and I could tell by about third or the fourth season, I said, he's slowly just slipping in the darkness. That's why it ended it the way it ended, because he had just kind of just lost himself in this shit. And that's how the game goes. So I'm saying with porn or with drugs or with alcohol or with, twerking, with X-rated rap songs, I'm not saying ban any of that. I'm saying keep it for the people who are old enough and mature enough to deal with it. I don't think youngsters should have such easy access to porn. When we were young, Kamar, we grew up in the VHS era, where the VHS era revolutionized. It revolutionized porn. And so all of a sudden you had to go to the theater and you had to find it.
Yeah, we had to go find that shit.
And if you had it, it was like, look what I have. Like, where you get that shit from? We shouldn't have been looking at it, but it was hard. You didn't just walk into it, unless your parents was freaky deakies and they had a tremendous stash or whatever. But nowadays, you can just turn on regular TV and see this kind of thing. Like, not hardcore porn necessarily, but if you got a phone, Google will take you to whatever you want to see.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, it's I want to know what's right and what's wrong. Is it right for Trump to be really xenophobic and racist and be just egomaniacal, kind of like evil. He's like a comic book evil genius. He's like Lex Luthor and shit. And his morals are deplorable. And people are saying, well, we don't really care about that. We don't care about that. We want to vote for him. I even heard Trump setting up the lie talking about his ear grew back miraculously, and the doctor said he's never seen anything like it. I never seen nobody ear grow back so fast. Are you setting me up for the okie doke, Trump? So when you finally showed that you really did you really not get shot in your ear? Because you ain't coming back talking about you got shot with an AR-15 talking about my ear. The doctor said it's never. You 78 years old. Come on, man.
He tired of wearing that tape on his ear.
Yeah, fake ass
You
shit.
gotta come up with something. You gotta come up with something.
And it's hilarious to see these old white Republicans sitting in the crowd with this big ass piece of tape on their ear. I'm like, y'all look so fucking silly. Y'all, white people embarrass them. That's one thing. White people are willing to embarrass themselves for Donald Trump. They'll say the dumbest shit. They'll do the dumbest. Be like, Trump, man. Like, motherfucker, you just making a fucking ass out of yourself. Earl Henning said, y'all know they mad because they didn't get to hit. Are you talking about Kamala? I don't know. What you talking about, Earl? Somebody's mad who didn't get to hit who? Kerry Walker Jones said, I worked for a government institution in Milwaukee when I was in my teens, and everybody was fucking everybody with wives and husbands at home. The drugs were ridiculous, and a lot of these people would turn their noses up to people in the community that were doing the same thing. Yeah, that's what we label on here, the hypocrisy in our democracy. How you doing, Mama Jenkins? She says, good evening, my outlaw family. The officer that murdered my son had a felon out, and Milwaukee still hired him. He had a felony, and Milwaukee still hired him. She said he's the same road cop that beat the hell out of Frank Jude Jr. The only officer that was going to be charged in Milwaukee for killing the citizen was Alfonso Glover. He reloaded his gun on Wilbur Prada, and he went home and blew his fucking brains out. As of today, there's been 59 deadly police shootings in Milwaukee. All have been ruled justifiable. Some people won lawsuits, but no cops have been charged. Oh, my God. Mama Jinx, first of all, condolences for your son. You know, condolences for your son.
Man.
You know, and you are a strong person. So the fact that you can still function with that kind of thing hanging around your neck every day, like, and so some road cop murdered my child, like that's a hell of a burden to bear. So God bless you. But you are correct. That's what I was alluding to. So when people start to say, well, Kamala didn't charge a cop who murdered somebody, I'm like, yeah, but none of them have. Right? None of them have. Like, it's a thing in this country where there's a line that these prosecutors, these DAs don't want to cross because they feel like it would compromise the police officer's ability to do his or her job. It's crazy. It's stupid. That qualified immunity bullshit. It's the way they just pardoned Trump saying, oh, he got convicted of 34 felonies, but did he do this shit while he was president? like who gets that guy? 32 felonies in the same case, and you're going to give him a concession? That's the kind of shit that has people of color, in particular, foundational Black Americans, looking at America with the side eye. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all, you know, that's why you hear people saying we're still slaves. That's why you hear people saying, hell no, we ain't free. That's why you hear all these things, and white people think, oh, well, they're so paranoid. They don't. No. This shit is real. You know what I'm saying? And when you hear me talk about us in our mind state of we got to really stop thinking like we're enslaved. I don't think you get to be free until you stop thinking like you're enslaved. You know what I mean? But I still recognize and realize what's going on in this country. I still see the bullshit. I'm still like, oh my good, for real? It's like, that's Outlaw Radio. 262-202-5131. Call us, let us know how you feel. Kerry Walker said the Pied Piper. Chris Olsen, how you doing? How you doing? Chris, I don't believe you have been with us before, so welcome to the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the show, please. He said porn is accessible to everyone because the industry wants as much engagement as it can have to keep itself rolling. But what can we do for kids to make them less vulnerable to this kind of exposure? You know, Chris, I hate to sound like a cliche, okay, but there's a such thing as parenting. There's a such thing as parenting, okay? And let me say this too, there's no 100% foolproof way, right? But I think you have to really do the best that you can to regulate your children, especially in an age where there's so much information available. You really have to manage and watch what they're doing. And you have to instill in them like some base, like a foundation of what's right and what's wrong. Don't do that. You can't do that. You can't get away with that. You know what I'm saying? And then when they get older, when they start to encounter these, because you know what all you held them back from, he gonna get on the bus with his partner. He gonna, dog, look what's up. Look at my phone, and then he got access to it. But I feel like if you have this kind of foundation, you can keep him from sliding off the edge. I always say when children early on start to express some sort of sexual mannerisms, like a young man acting like a female or a female acting like a young man, I think it's time right away to notice your child's behavior and grab them and say, what you been looking at? Where are you getting this from? Why you wearing this energy like this? And because a lot of those people say, oh, because I was being molested by my Sunday school teacher or whoever for 5 years. And the parents like, I had no idea. But you're not paying attention to your child, because if they're being molested or assaulted, their behaviors change. The way that your kid. It's like, say, man, what you doing? What's wrong? What's going on? You got to do that. You have to. Now more than ever, you have to be a proactive parent. My parents were proactive on setting the foundation and setting up the rules and the structure. And then they just kind of let us go out into the world and we be all over the place. You can't really do that now with your kids. Got a caller. I hope that answered your question, Chris. Dion, what's popping, man? What's going on?
Hey, man, what's happening? How you doing?
Ain't nothing to it, man. What's popping with you?
Man, nothing. Just sitting back, absorbing all this information out here in this world, man, in this cyber world, and this podcast, the radio station, everything. I had been heard about that young lady that got murdered in Springfield, Illinois. I seen the news headlines, but because I be on Twitter too. X or Twitter. But I had seen it, but sometimes you don't really pay too much credence to certain things you see, because you see it, you're like, oh, okay. But then when that video came out, that was like, wow. I said, that's crazy. Bro, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to feel something behind it, but you be like, is this the same old thing? Look at Sandra Bland. Look at, what's her name? Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Walter Scott, just the list goes, Tamir Rice, the list just goes on and on. There's so many others that didn't even make the news. Like, I knew it was BS when, what's his name? The guy in Minnesota, Fidel Castile, when he was murdered.
Philando.
Philando. Eric Garner for selling cigarettes. The list just goes on and on and on and on. And it'll always just come back. Like when Ben Crump was over here, he was like, they always be like, well, we need to do training. No, you don't need to do no training, because when somebody look like you handle them with gloves on. And that's why they be wondering sometimes, because it was a guy in Detroit that just killed the police. And they be wondering why sometimes, they'll look at us like animals. Well, why you guys are rejoicing when the police get killed? Sometimes it feels good when the bad guy comes out on top. And who says he's the bad guy? You guys just say he's the bad guy. But he ain't got one of y'all, because y'all sitting up there playing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be playing in our face, trying to treat us any type of way. You know what I'm saying? And want to kill us. And then when we rejoice, because I rejoice all the time. I don't care. And they be like, oh, it's a loss of life. Well, it's collateral damage. That's how I look at it. He should have complied. It was a guy in Tennessee got pulled over by the police, and he was begging him, like, please stop, leave me alone. Why are you harassing me? Man, he put it on dude. I'm talking about put it on him. You know what I'm saying? But you don't hear about that. You know, you hear about the other ones though. And you know, just me and you chatted, yesterday, and I'm just, I'm just so sick of us with the carrot and the rabbit, or however that shit go. The symbolism, the token. It's just, I personally, like I said, I'm gonna vote for her, but I don't have faith that she could beat Trump. I just don't. And like I said, I sent you that. I don't think I sent it to Kamar, but I sent you that clip. And I truly believe that, because the United States of America won't allow a white woman to lead them. Now, maybe we might be living in a different climate. I don't care how many old white women was crying and they feeling invigorated and empowered. It's going to have to take some motherfuckers to get up out that grave to go vote for them people to beat Donald Trump. Because you got a lot of us, like you said, niggas that ain't sticking on code. Because me and my guy, we was having a discussion today, like, man, he said the same thing you saying. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. I just know I hear the sentiment when I hear different podcasts and different people being interviewed. People say they just sick and tired of what's given to us. Here, we gonna give you all this, and y'all just gonna follow tone. And people say, no, we tired of that. We want something different. We didn't want Biden from the first jump. We don't want her. We damn sure don't want Trump. But it goes back and say, sometimes people would vote against their own interests just to try to stick it to them, just to show them, like, hey, it is what it is. But like, I always be, when I sit back and I look at those things where black people get murdered by the police, and then you hear white people be like, well, this is my land. Oh, wait, this is a jail call, bro. I'm going to hit y'all right back. This is my guy from Detroit. I'm going to hit y'all right back.
Okay. I didn't know if he was giving an example or it was actually somebody on the phone from jail. I was like, whoa, did he kind of like wander off his story? I want to say this. Once again, I'm not hooting and hollering because of the white women that were cheering for Kamala. What my thing was the reaction. There was an instant burst of energy. When you see millions of dollars raised very quickly, that's saying something. I don't think you can just jump and say, because first of all, Hillary and Kamala are like vanilla and cream soda, like vanilla soda versus cream soda, right? Like one, just cream soda got a little bit more flair than plain vanilla, right? Nobody was going to vote for Hillary. Hillary was, by the time she ran, she was depleted. She had no credibility with the people. And plus these are different times, because I think we found out what it would be like to have Trump after he won that election. That's why it's no mystery that he lost when he ran again. So this idea that Trump is unbeatable. And once again, I think you really have to understand how much voting power women actually possess. There are way more registered women voters than men. I don't know if people know that. Look it up. Mama Jenkins said, once again, she said, I'm going to say it. When the George Floyd family went and gave that testimony, I thought they would contribute to push for change, but money changed their minds. Yes, Dion, there are many names, but most of those people settled out of court. When we start having this conversation, like I think we have to start getting, when there'll never be anything perfect. You'll never see a perfect candidate. There'll never be a perfect process. I mean, what would you do if everything in America worked exactly like it's supposed to work? To me, that would mean there's no room for growth. There's no room for change. There's no room for thinking outside the box, because everything works, so it's status quo. Why would I break something that's already fixed? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not, I'm listening to all of the pundits, man. I'm seeing people, and a lot of people are talking about black. And I'm like, are you really paying attention to what's going on? Because I feel like the people are really supporting her. I feel like people are really supporting that sister, Kamar. I'm saying,
when Biden was running, everybody was upset. You know what I mean? They was down. And like you said, you'll vote for Miss Piggy before you vote for Trump. You know what I mean? So like, it can only get better. You know what I mean? Once Biden stepped down, I feel like almost no matter who did. But I think I mentioned a while back that if Biden stepped down, remember I asked you, I said, well, what would happen? Will she be the next one? And I said it would bring some energy to the Democratic Party if she did, because first off, that would be the answer to what everybody was saying. You know what I mean? Biden need to step down. We need somebody else in there, so you got somebody new. But then you got a new woman of color. I'm gonna call her a woman of color. Um, so you get a lot of black people excited too now. Well, more black people probably that was upset with Biden, I'm saying. You know what I mean? You get them back on board.
Well,
So,
that's
you
the
know what I
whole
mean? I can
that's the
see
whole
why it would
thing.
invigorate. I can see why it would invigorate the campaign.
Well, that's the whole thing, is that you had a lot of people who were to the point where they were like, I'm probably gonna sit this one out. Like I can't honestly, I can't vote for Biden because my confidence in him is shaken, and I can't vote for Trump because of his record. But this, like I said, this brings a different kind of perspective, because you have women, because you have in particular woman of color. I know people keep saying she ain't black. See, that's what I want to talk about too, because I said black people are
So with
only
Biden,
only the only true Americans are black people. But you have to understand, there are other races that qualify as black, but they're just not American blacks. So if you're Jamaican, of course you're black. If you're Haitian, you're black. If you're Puerto Rican, you black. But you're not a foundational black American. That doesn't mean your blackness is invalid, right? Like, so people need to stop talking out the side of their ass with that shit and stop acting like, I don't care if you're a dark-skinned Cuban. If you succeed and get a position, it means something for everybody. It means something for all of us who have melanin in our skin. Carrie said, can someone please tell me what are black jobs for black people? You know, people who put eyelash techs, right? Nickel bag men.
daycare owners.
I don't know about the owners, but damn sure the workers. You know, janitors, security guards. I guess I don't know. What's up, black? There's some shit he said, and black people said, ain't no big deal. See, we're willing to forgive him saying some shit like that, but we mad at her because she said there's no racism in America. What the fuck? See, I think it's an asinine statement. Of course, we think it's inaccurate, it's false. But once again, we said she's not one of us, so maybe she doesn't understand it quite like we do. I don't know her whole life. I just know, like I said, I would vote for a wet noodle over Donald Trump. And since there's somebody in the race who is a person of color, not particularly a descendant of slavery like myself, it won't stop me from voting for it, because you all were going to vote for Biden or Trump, and they're white men. So they're definitely not black. I just stop talking. I be wanting to tell some people, sometimes when I'm listening, come on, you know, I'm in the Podverse, I'm on YouTube, I'm listening to some of our pundits, and I'm saying, shut the fuck up, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Or either you talking about some shit that ain't even relevant to the situation. You know what I mean? It's like, it's divisive for no reason. Why are you? Oh man, it's sometimes I'm confused. I'll be like, see, that's why we always keep saying we are our own worst enemy in a lot of situations. It's us. It ain't them. It's us. Now, of course, the white man gonna say she the Haktua girl. The Haktua girl is white, right? That shit ain't slick because you said that. That ain't funny. That's disrespectful. Your wife is probably a Haktua girl. Ask her about her college experiences if she went. Ask her, did she get with the brothers? She probably was a Haktua girl.
Was she with the cute dogs?
And right. And what's wrong with a Haktua girl anyways?
Was she hanging out with the cute dogs?
I thought being a Haktua girl was a good thing. I didn't know that was bad. I'm sorry. Listen, take care of your man. Do what you got to do. Mama Jenkins said, no, she not perfect, but she fucking better than Trump. And yes, Trump was not expecting this to happen. He was so fucking focused on the old man. Well, his ass is in for a battle because women have power. And one thing about a woman, when the shit hit the fan, we know how to roll. Well, that's the other thing that a lot of men are saying, Mama Jenkins, is they just don't want a woman to be president. Even now in 2024, there are a lot of black men expressing the sentiment, I don't want a black woman to be president simply because she's a female. So I have like this thing where I was taught growing up in church that a woman shouldn't be a pastor of a church, right? She shouldn't be a preacher. And so I have this kind of stigma now when I see churches and their pastor is a female. I don't know how accurate it was, but I got to think about the fact that I got it from my father and his peers, and they were all old Southern men, and that was the old Southern Christian kind of thing. But then there's women who are evangelists and who come and who speak. And so I don't know. I think women right now are evolved enough to assume leadership positions, especially if she's educated enough. Why would we deny her privilege?
That's kind of a hot topic too. You know, I used to watch a bunch of debates and stuff, right? And they was talking about the Hebrew Israelites, and they follow a part of the Bible where, well, the book that they follow, right? They talk about, there's a part in there where it say women are incapable of being teachers, right? And I think that's what they was alluding to as far as teachers of the church or whatever. You know, so like there's some stuff in some religion that says some shit like that. But I feel like, you know how we say like the different Bibles was rewritten to fit whoever wrote them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that was some shit that was just put in there. You know what I mean? Because that can't be no moral code. That can't be no good morality or whatever. Because women are our first teachers. It's our mother. You know what I mean? So how can a woman not be a teacher? How can a woman not lead? Or what? You know what I'm saying? How can it not be possible?
Well, I never heard that they couldn't be teachers, so that's unique. But I guess the way my dad would explain it is that, and I'm once again not an expert on scripture, so please, if you know better, correct me. He would say the passage was women are to be seen and not heard in the church. So they could be ushers, they could be Sunday school teachers, whatever, but they couldn't be the leader of the flock. And that was the way he defined it to me. And I don't know if it's, you know, come on, we start talking about what's been thrown in and what's been removed, that turns into a different show, right? Because we start talking about all different kinds of Bibles and like, I don't, you know, sometimes the devil get lost in the details. I mean, the devil is in the details, I should say. So I'm just saying, like, that was my own personal thing about, I think that's kind of like the only thing that I hold on to now. I mean, and I also believe, especially in the home, I also believe in the home that a woman should not lead the man, right? I believe that. So I don't know if that makes me a chauvinist or not, but I believe a woman could be president because it's checks and balances. She won't have supreme ultimate power. She's not, you know, wake up one day, she on her period, like, launch the bombs.
They tell men what to do. You know what
right.
I mean? The men have bosses when they president. Shit. I was just saying that to say that, you know what I mean? I believe that a woman can be president and would do all right. Like maybe we do need something different. You know what I mean? Maybe we do need some different views in there. Shit, we need something.
Absolutely do.
All that shit foul. Like, yeah, why not do something different?
Yeah, you know, I'm not really going with that. Like now, I can tell you, in professionally in jobs, there is a difference. But I've had female supervisors and managers, and I've had male supervisors and managers, and there's a difference. There's a difference, and sometimes I can say the smoothest jobs that I've had were when my supervisor or manager was a male, because we were on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say I haven't worked with some sisters who was really about their business and took care of business. I think it might just be a thing about relating to someone. Mama Jenkins says, well, KB, I'm a preacher daughter, and so was I, but if it wasn't for the women being in the church, the damn door would be closed. If it wasn't for women bringing us into this world, earth would be closed. Listen, James Brown knocked that out the ballpark, and I know he didn't write the song, but the whole point of the song, This is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman's touch. I think men and women complement each other, especially in sensible, logical, progressive relationships. Not where someone is trying to dominate the other. I think if you just be in that relationship and be willing to play your part, a natural order will kind of evolve. Like you'll look around and your woman will. So like I don't lead my wife, but if we're in a conversation and there's another man involved, she's gonna defer to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, no, you need to talk to my husband. Or Kevin, you need to go talk to him because I don't feel. And so I'm like, all right, what's happening? But it's not because I'll be like, you shut your ass up and get over there. Like, it's like she knows. And when it's a woman involved, I know, like, hey, yo, you need, if we go somewhere, she do the talking. It's natural. She didn't tell me you set your ass up when there's another woman around, unless I'm getting frisky. Then she'd be like, I think you done said enough. You need to go sit down. Then I'm like, damn, my bad. I don't know if some of y'all ever been in trouble for that. Go to a restaurant, you just you joking around a little bit too much with the waitress. your woman let you know you mighty friendly, ain't you? He said, oh shit, my bad. Damn, girl, stop tripping. That's what we always say, man. You tripping on that? Mama Jenkins said James Brown said it best. She said I was typing when you said it. Yes. I mean, listen, most of the time, here's a little secret. Most of the time in any home, especially in any family, you know who the center of that whole universe is, right? It's mama.
No doubt.
Mama run the house anyways. Don't nobody know the inventory like mama. Don't nobody know where shit is put like mama. Like when you need anything, sometimes the woman gets out like, y'all don't have to ask me. I shouldn't have to do everything. We expect you to because you mama, right? So women, no, men, stop it. A woman can't be president. If Trump can be president, anybody can be president. That's what I feel about it. Like, I feel like, all bets was off. So, but yeah, let's get rid of that. And I'm sure now, and I said that about my dad in the church, but that was a very long time ago. I'm not in the church right now, y'all, so I can't really tell you if that's still a thing. I don't think so, because I think the number of men who actually are in church has like dwindled. So women have had to assume leadership roles. I was just kind of giving that as an example of who, how I see things, because all of us, like, come on, as men, that there's a certain way you're not going to let a female talk to you, right? Just is. And you're going to say, hey, man,
I ain't gonna let nobody talk to me.
Right. But there's a certain way, and it's certain women come at you certain ways and you have to nip it in the bud. And it's a female thing. Right. Like when you have to say, you got me fucked up. Like, nah.
Women argue different than men.
Absolutely. Shit.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time, the way women argue, it's like fighting. It's time to fight for men. And that's why it ain't good for women and men to be going at it with each other like that. You know what I mean? Because she can cut him. Verbally, she cut me. You know what I'm saying? This shouldn't happen like that.
In some cases, I think when you get into a war of words with a woman, I mean, and I know you're correct, because a lot of times that's why brothers are hesitant. Well, you seen a brother who has ever gotten attacked by a woman? He was really hesitant because, it's a woman. She was ramping up. And he was like, man, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Hey, man. Whereas if it was a dude, it'd have been like, man, what's happening? Bow, right off top.
You finna fight or you ain't.
Well, yeah.
To that point.
Most men are just going to remove themselves. Like, I'm finna go. You tripping. As opposed to saying, I'll beat you. Now, we got some brothers out here. Ladies, be careful. A lot of Ike Juniors out here. They'll put them hands on you. Mama Jenkins said, my husband said a woman can shut shit down. Just put sex and cooking on strike. Hey, man, listen, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. Brothers get influenced to do chores. because the cook. Sometimes your action get cut off. Like damn, what you want me to do? You need to take out the garbage more. You need to clean up the kitchen sometimes. Brother be in there with suds and duds in there trying to give me a piece, and he sure wants some food. So you're right, Mama Jenkins. But we all have ways. We all have access to different things within a relationship that we can stop doing, and it will affect everything, right? But I'm just saying, like, the old notion, like, there's still a lot of like, even okay. So when we talk about households, in particular Black households, and you hear women saying, "Well, I shouldn't have to pay my bills. He should pay all my bills. Like he should go in." And I say, that's kind of an outdated concept, because nowadays it damn near takes a 2-income family to be able to maintain. Now, of course, you got some brothers who getting it to the point where they can say, "Baby, you ain't got to work. You ain't got to do nothing." Some brothers say that and they just work more. They're not rich. They just work more. Like, shit, I work 18-hour shifts because she don't work. But most of the time, women have progressed to the point now where they got education, they got qualifications, they got certifications. She go and get her a job. It's part of the household income. It's part of our median income. So I think that concept is outdated as well. So, things have changed drastically. And so when we start talking about who can be a leader and a leader of what, I think you have to accept that those things have changed as well. That's just a conversation that men need to have with themselves. Like, shit ain't the same. It ain't 1952. You know, and like I said, we both have things within a relationship that we can kind of put a wrinkle in the fabric. I still haven't gotten any more details about this what they labeled it, a mass shooting. The car party or whatever these young people had. And but 8 got shot. One young lady was murdered, and another young lady was trampled. And supposedly they had promoted this event via social media or whatnot. I haven't gotten a lot more details on that. I did catch a live from I guess it was a young lady who, she was actually the one who organized it, and she was saying, like, it's time to I'm doing everything now. I'm doing everything private. We're gonna do it indoors. We're gonna have security guards because of because of what happened. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing because I look at Instagram and Kamar got a commercial for Vitality with the Haktua girl. I just said, "Oh my God, this is crazy right here. This dude's right." Um, but yeah, man, I haven't. I don't understand. Solution-based radio, right? We have enough vacant property. We have enough space in this city to designate safe zones where kids can come and hang out and be regulated. I understand that this was a thing that was promoted on social media, and that these kids kind of they did it on impromptu. I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, we need to create some spaces, because when we start having these kinds of events, what we're starting to see is that kids really don't have anywhere to go. Like, young people, and it's probably because they fuck up every time they go somewhere, but that's what young people do. I just think the city would be better served if they said, all these organizations, 414 Life, all these anti-violence organizations, I feel like they should all just collaborate on a safe space and say, "Hey, y'all want to come up? Y'all want to have a car party? Y'all want to kick it and hang out, play y'all music? Come to this area." Number one, there is cameras. There is law enforcement officers patrolling. Hang out, talk to the girls, come through, show off your cars, play your music. Don't get with the rah-rah shit. You want to blaze 50 blunts? No, you got to do that shit until it gets legalized or decriminalized. I just feel like we need to do a better put up a better effort in meeting young people where they are. I feel like right now we just kind of letting them burn, and then we saying, "What the fuck is wrong with these young people?" It don't seem like we providing them with some of the things we should be providing them with in terms of ensuring, because a lot of times they stray bullets. They don't know. They don't know how to keep themselves safe. Right? Dion, what's popping, man? What's going on?
Oh, nothing, man. I apologize. I abruptly had to hang up. But that was my guy in the joint in Chicago and shit. So I like to rap with him a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I like to rap with them. Yeah, you know, I keep it real. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely always enjoying the show, man. You know, hopefully next week I don't be up under the weather. You know, I could come down there and hang out with Kamar and the wellness program and hang out and absorb some of the beautiful ladies that come through there. You know, as always. So that's really about it. But as I was stating before I abruptly had to get off the phone, I hope everything works out well for us as far as Black people. But I was listening to some the other day, and they was talking about, like, basically we always, like, I don't think it could get no worse than what it is almost. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, like, we done lived through Jim Crow before. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it went back to that time, which I doubt it will be, I don't think a lot of us will allow it to go back to that. But I'm gonna tell you this, and what we need to start preparing for. And I always be thinking about it. We had talked about it before, and I told you I got some of those non-perishable foods that I be buying and stuff like that. But warning come before destruction. So I don't want us to be sitting around and stuck with our pants down. So we need to prepare. Now, I can't own no firearm, but I could prepare as far as trying to get non-perishable food and give me some water and things like that, and the generator. And that's the most important thing, because not only, we ain't even thinking about the white folks no more. That's a small level of things. They was talking about how we got hacked the other day. Every time it be something going on with AT&T, like, remember last week, the airplanes, they couldn't go nowhere. Like that, could you imagine? So they said, now what? They don't care how much money you got in the bank, because now when COVID came, they took away us having cash. What if it get hacked and shut the grid down? We can't. Our money is useless because we can't get it out the bank. Everything shut down. You can't do nothing. That's something to think about, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know them doomsday scenarios, and Kev, you put a real good one in perspective. That one time, me and you was chopping it up, and when I sent you that little video, dude put another one. But that's something to think about, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we be able to survive? I ain't gonna lie. I like my cell phone. I enjoy social media. Like, me and my guy was talking the other day, I wouldn't want to be in jail right now. I can't be on TikTok and jump in a bitch inbox and talk nasty to her. You know what I'm saying? On Facebook, or order me a pair of shoes, or you know what I'm saying? I mean, I enjoy the amenities of life. I do, though. But if these people, and we ain't talking about the white folks, because it's some international hackers. If they hacked us and shut everything down, what can we do, man? We can't get and then they talking about power too. Because, anytime it's a big storm, I don't know if it affects you, but me and Rail always talk about it. Our goddamn power always just go out. You know what I'm saying? When it's a snowstorm or something. So think about if they shut the grid down. You can have a freezer full of food, but your food spoiled. So that means you got to buy non-perishables, or growing in the garden. But I don't know. I ain't gonna say who got land or whatever, because people probably do got land and out there growing all that stuff. They got wild chickens and shit. I can't survive like that. Now, if I was forced to, I ain't never killed a chicken a day in my life. I ain't never killed a chicken a day in my life. I ain't got no garden. I just be shit out of luck. You feel what I'm saying? So just think about if something like that happened, though, But I got a good friend named KB. And, he armed, and maybe he can invite me over there to hang out with him and his family, and, he could protect me, and I could eat some of his. We could grow some chickens and shit, Cam, buy some chickens and shit, man. Because we got to take this shit seriously, though. I'm for real, though. We got to take this shit seriously. Like Will said it that one time, why we all just can't get together. Even if it's just for something like that. Like, bro, hey, listen. I can't have no firearm. I can invest in you to make sure your shit good, that you can have all the firearms, the bullets, the shit that you need. You know what I'm saying? If some shit happens, we need to get where a safe place where motherfuckers, you feel what I'm saying, though?
Well, I think if the grid, if we're talking about a doomsday scenario and the grid failed, those laws that kept you from having a firearm will be out the window. So the first thing you would do is go and get you one, even if you had to come over here and say, Kev, let me get one of them, cuz And then I say, here, we ain't worried about you. When the shit go back on, they gonna say, okay, now Dion, you got to go to jail. So you would very quickly learn to adapt. Even in the same thing about, well, I ain't never killed no chicken. If your ass get hungry enough, you'll murder every chicken you see. You see what I'm saying? And if you came over here,
you definitely figure it out.
Participate in the process. So it'd be like, Dion, I'm about to show you. I ain't gonna feed you chicken. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Now you'd have your own chickens all of a sudden because we'd have eggs, like you said. It would be a process in which we learned from each other. We'd have to come together. It'd be like a tribe saying, okay, who does what? Because then it turns into a thing. Well, in the daytime, the men got to go out and gather food. And the women have to stay home and nurture the children or what have you. And so, it would be society would survive. I think, yeah, we enjoy the shit. Like, I love all this modern shit too, Dion. But I think if this shit went away, we would learn. It would be hard. You'd have a deep learning curve and be difficult at first. But sooner or later, some kind of pattern, some kind of methods would fall into place and people would just learn how to survive. And they just reminisce, like, remember we didn't have to do this shit to keep food cold? Or remember we didn't have to go out and hunt every day? Man, I miss Burger King. I miss McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think that people, the nature of people is to survive and try and survive. And that's where we get in trouble at, is when we're encountered with any kind of threat. Like when we live anywhere where we set up our encampment at, any kind of perceived threat, including a new group of people moving into the area. They want the same thing we got. But we're going to say, no, you're going to take resources from us, so we killing your ass, because it's about survival of the fittest. And so our instinct, our survival instinct, leads us down this crazy path. Like we talked about, people being in survival mode. Extreme poverty does that to you. You get to saying, look, I'm not worried about, why you think you got felons who got a house full of guns? Motherfucker, I'm in survival mode. I don't give a fuck about no law. What you mean I can't have no pistol and I'm in the jungle where everybody trying to kill me? Yes, I got a pistol. This is survival instinct. After so long, you say, man, fuck all the bullshit. That shit out the window, bro. we got to figure out how we gonna make it. So I think we underestimate ourselves. Just like I think people in America buy into hype so much, and they underestimate how easy, or how hard, I should say, how hard it would be for the government to really just institute martial law. You think that shit go down without a hitch? Nah, because you got militias, you got groups, Dion, groups of people who are survivalists right now. They've already been engaged in this lifestyle for years. You know what I'm saying? Soon as that happens, where you think people going? They're just going to vacate the city. It'll be very hard, or we'll inhabit the city to the point where we'll be dug in. What you would have to do is the government is level the entire city, because you're not doing patrols, because it's going to be people on buildings, in holes, in caves, in bushes, and they're all going to be armed, right? You know, the lesson that the United States learned from Vietnam is you go over there fucking with somebody at home, you be surprised, right? You think it's just supposed to be, well, we can do this easily. Look at Iraq. You go over there, you think, oh, we just gonna take over. This shit ain't like us. Hey, IEDs, right? Suicide bombers, booby traps, guerrilla warfare. People gonna come together and say, man, we need to work together. That's all I'm saying.
A motherfucker need a ham radio.
That too.
Ain't that what they call them? Ham radios.
Yeah. There's people who know how to build radios from scratch, right?
For real? Wow.
Yeah, man. Listen, collectively, we're always better. If we get together and this dude say, I don't have no food, but I can make a radio. Dion, you say I ain't got no guns, but I got perishables that can sustain us until we can grow some crops. And I say I got guns. Now we all, see what I'm saying? Teamwork make the dream work. That's how we need to be in our community, but we won't circle the wagons like that, because everybody want to be the lead wagon. Nobody want to be the second or the third wagon. I want to paint my wagon green and put some triple gold wagon wheels on it, even if it attract attention, right? Like Mama Jenkins is in the chat room. She said they locked their asses up at Southridge. I said the same shit Why don't all those groups up and up some of these raggedy boarded up buildings and make it a safe place for youth? Every night for the last 2 weeks, a young person has been killed after 11 p.m. curfew. Epidemic. Mayor Johnson said this city is safer than it's ever been. Little buddy, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you, little buddy?
It's another kid missing every night too.
There we go. There we go. Murder, right? But it's safer than it's ever been. Sound like he trying to convince would-be gentrifiers. Come on back. It's safe. Come on. Come out of Oconomowoc. Come out of the wild counties. It's safe. We got cheap property down here. These niggers can't afford it. Mama Jenkins said, teach a man to fish and he'll never be hungry. Boy and Girl Scouts taught us survival skills. My mom would never let us join the Boy Scouts because she said they was molesters. So I was never.
Yeah, you know, that came out after years. Shit, so she did the right thing.
Yeah, man. She was like, nah, ain't gonna be no, yeah. We learned survival skills from Pops going in the wood hunting. We couldn't go. Me and my brother couldn't go to camps and shit. Like you couldn't. She'd be like, nah, they ain't nothing but some freakish ass old white men. Super paranoid, right, about everything. You brought up the computer outage. It was crazy to see people's reaction. That you look at the people in the airport down in Atlanta, we're actually down there fighting, like this chaos. I woke up and they said, well, you won't be able to use your ATM machine. I mean, your ATM card.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
So I said, let me hurry up and get to the bank and get some cash, right? And the line was long as shit. It just so happened that I didn't feel like waiting in the line. So I said, let me try this ATM before I sit here forever. And it was working. So I was like, okay, cool. I still got me some cash, but I that's the first thing in my mind when they said, oh, the computers is down. I said, I'm going right to the bank. Give me my money. You don't get a chance to lose my shit.
A lot of times when that little stuff happens, you just think, oh, it'd be something. But I didn't know it was major as it was. I really didn't. I just went to a place. I went to go get an oil change, and he was like, "We can't take no payments right now." I mean, they was like chickens with their head cut off. They was like Microsoft something, this, that, and the other. And then, when I got on the phone, because I remember when AT&T, when they fucked our phones up, we couldn't use the phone at all. They talking about somebody had hit a tower or something. Like, how in the fuck do a tower in Chicago affect my shit here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? You know what I'm saying? And then after that, when all that shit came back on, guess what? Facebook crashed. And you like, oh shit. Now my mind clicking like it's some bigger shit here. You know what I'm saying? It's something bigger here than that. Because how AT&T go out there and Facebook crash, and they did this simultaneously. So like I said, I didn't know about that situation last week when the computers crashed like that. But that's something to think about, though. You know what I'm saying? And it's starting to happen more frequently. And they doing it in a little increment. Let's see how many boom we could do here. Let's see how many boom that we could do there. Let's see how many boom we could do here. And then pretty soon now they have gathered enough information and they do it major worldwide. You know what I'm saying? At least because I don't think it's somebody coming from the United States doing it, because if they is, they gonna get them the death penalty. Because you hacking instruments, they might not give them death penalty. They might want them to come work for them.
It was supposedly a security, internet security company who had tried to implement a security system, and it shut down Microsoft's mainframe, I guess. So they know who was responsible for it.
And hey, I think if they did something where they call themselves shutting shit down or fuck up everybody money, like that's really fucking up everybody money, even rich motherfuckers do. You know what I mean? Because they money on the same computer shit is ours. You know what I mean? So if the shit crashed, everybody fucked up, not just us.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless they want to disable it and then be able to hit some places that have large cash deposits and then take that cash and say, now we're the only ones who got money. I mean, but once again, Kamar, I think if this situation happens where our currency falls, bartering immediately comes into play. Like we just talked about, it becomes a system of who got what and what can I do to get it. You move into people saying, hey, I'll work for it. I'll work for mine. So I help you build your house and make it more secure. And so somebody ends up with a compound because they have enough money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have enough to barter with people and say, hey, no, I can provide something. And people say, I don't got no money, but I need your services. So I just think the humans, we just tend to just.
And then not only that, but that would basically be the end of the United States too,
as we know it.
So, like, I don't think white supremacy would let that happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's them though. You know, you got to understand the United States got a lot of enemies. China don't like us.
Yeah, but China they ain't gonna do shit.
They ain't gonna do nothing like that. That ain't going.
I tell you what, you think they finna come over here and invade?
They ain't got to do that, but they can shut our shit down and fuck us up and send us into a catastrophe.
Well, no, we'll figure out how to survive without them. Trust me. The only thing, if they come over here, in order to get rid of us, you got to eradicate us. You got to this shit has to be leveled. You stop. What you gonna stop sending us computers? Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. Because first of all, we had the faculties to build whatever it is that they build. We just outsource it because their labor is cheaper. So they're not supplying anything for us. Even when we talk about fossil fuels, people think we're so dependent on Iraq and Iran. You know, it's oil reserves in the United States of America.
Yeah, we got one of the largest oil reserves it is.
I feel like they smart enough to have a backup plan too.
Okay.
That's just like, and what's that Fort Knox where all the gold at? That's where the world's largest opioid, you know what I'm talking about, the opioids. That's where the world's largest opioid supply at, because they figure like if we ever had World War III, our soldiers would need that type of medicine. So that's where all that stuff is kept at. But see, the thing about it is, though, when you think about it, if World War III, it won't be fought like that. It'll be fought digitally. And if another country shuts us down digitally where they damage our shit, you know what I'm saying? The planes are grounded. Our military is fucked up. Our financial system is fucked up. They have fucked up the power grid, all type of shit.
Well, that's why they're saying they want to limit TikTok, because it gives foreign influence. It gives, because it's online. You're putting your information on there. And if that information gets into the wrong hands, then they can shut you down from over there. I just think people underestimate even the government's ability to plan for these types of events. I don't think the government is butt naked. I think if there was any kind of I think there's protocols in place where if there was any kind of action from over there, it'd be like, nah, we good. I mean, then again,
look what happened.
It's above our heads. So, you know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess it was a pandemic packet in place, but we had an idiot in the White House. So we have another idiot in the White House, and then some shit like this happened. Oh, well, it's China. You know, they had us really thinking that those people over there in Wuhan, China, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that, because those people have been doing that shit for you. How can somebody been doing something for centuries and years, all of a sudden, you saying that a motherfucker ate a bat, one single person, or maybe 5 single people ate a bat, and it infected the whole world? I still don't believe that's how that shit happened. I think that they put something either in our water or in our air, because I would have to sit back and really do research on how a virus, if one person get infected with a virus, how it can spread through the whole world like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's because if you don't know what the virus is, it's spreading every day. It's getting strong. Before you find out what it is, before you figure out like something's wrong here, then it's already in effect. Like that happens all the time. That happened with the flu. It used to happen with polio. Like, I mean, it was a pandemic. Like you've had outbreaks. Hell, was it the bubonic plague that killed half of Europe?
That was like 1913 or something like that.
No, the bubonic plague was hundreds of years ago. It wiped out half of Europe, and it came from them living years with these horrible sewage systems and coming into contact with rat feces and not paying attention to that. It had gotten out of control. all of a sudden people start getting sick. Nobody knew what it was. It got to be diagnosed. So it became the bubonic plague, and people died by the millions. Outbreaks happen. Hell, I keep saying, like, when I was little, you used to get chicken pox and the mumps. When the last time you seen somebody with chicken pox? I don't think my kids ever got chicken pox. I don't know. They had the shot though. We gave them that vaccination when they were born, but some of them we was like, nah, we're not rocking with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
what if we had chicken pox when we get older? I mean, when we had chicken pox when we was younger, what is it? What don't it turn into like sclerosis or something? Where it be the chicken pox on the inside of us now? Like what is the name of it though?
Shingles.
Is it? Yeah, shingles. Yeah, shingles.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not an expert on it. I don't know.
I ain't no expert either on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shingles. It's shingles.
I've heard that before. I just don't know what the ins and outs of it is. I don't be trying to front like I know. If it's some shit I don't know, you're gonna hear me say I don't know.
Hey, I think it's a bottom line to all this, right? I think if we really feel like this is what's finna happen, our best bet would be to getting off the grid now. You know what I mean? If we really feel like this is what's finna happen, this is what we should be doing. You know what I mean? And either way it go, we prepare for something. You know what I mean? We gonna prepare to be our best here. If that don't happen, or we gonna prepare to go off the grid because we feel like that's gonna happen. I think that ain't nothing we should argue about. It's just something that we should prepare for, if that's what we are.
I would always just tell my people to start diversifying what information they like. Start reading different things. Like, start acquainting yourself with different stuff. Like, don't get stagnant on your. We get to the point sometimes we think I'm smart as fuck. I know everything, and we don't understand that you should forever be learning. You should forever be learning. You should always be saying, I need to know more when I go to sleep today than I did yesterday about something. About something, right? Not just surface level shit, but sometimes you got to give some real. Let me look into this shit and see what this shit is about. How does this work? What is this? Like we talk about this grid. A lot of people don't understand even what that's about with our dependency on this electrical grid. And so but it's a deep dive on how it actually works, especially since technology is forever, developing and evolving. Carrie Walker Jones says she must have slept through that. She didn't even know that the outage happened. She said, my sister's going through something right now where she was cleaned out for hundreds of thousands. She's not getting any help. Damn. Yeah, that's cold-blooded right there.
Hell yeah.
Somebody will have to see me.
Is that from that outage?
Yeah, that's a good question. Was Carrie, was it from the outage, or was this just like a random somebody just hacked her? Like what they call it?
Scammers or some shit.
Yeah,
like you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful when you go use your credit card places and shit. Like I be going up there to that gas station, and I'm gonna tell you, Kev, that's the worst speedway in the city. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That speedway up there on Hampton and what's the name? Yeah. The other day I went up there and the lady was on break. Like, how you on break? Then the other day I go up there, they ain't had no bags for their donuts, and they was trying to give us plastic bags. Right. How you trying to give me a fucking plastic bag for my donut? You know what I'm saying? Like, that rubbed me the wrong way though. But yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what's the best to me, educators. I remember somebody tried to swipe $2,000 on my checking account, and they was like, they tried to do it in increments of 500. Educators, hurry up and call me. Landmark pretty good on it too, but Landmark make you, cause I don't fuck with banks, I fuck with credit unions. Landmark make you do all your shit over again. Like I got hacked twice this year. They tried to get me for some money, and I'm thinking because what had happened was, I don't know what I did, but I think what I thought it was, right, so I was renewing my registration on my vehicle. So if you do it online, they charge you $1, you know what I'm saying, $1, some little extra thing they charge you $1 for. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it was for. But it wasn't for that. It was somebody, and see, that's the thing. See, can they get small money out, then they'll take the big money. They just like, oh, you got compromised and this, that, and the other. So I had to go get a new ATM card. I'm about to get ready to go out of town. And a lot of that shit be an inconvenience too. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm about to get ready to go out of town. I need my shit to rent my vehicle, pay for my hotel and all that shit. So I'm like, oh, goddamn, I'm going to have to take all my money, go put it in the educators, because Landmark is my primary account, but I got an educator's account too. So I got to go take all my money, take it out of Landmark, put it in, it was just too much. But thank God they was able to rectify the situation to give me a new card. And then last week, I got hacked twice on Facebook. Somebody in the Dominican Republic, and that ain't particularly probably where they at. I don't even know what made them want to try to get in my Facebook, but a lot of times we'll do this. I don't never do this. If you make a payment on your phone will ask you, do you want to store your payment information? I don't fuck around like that. Like some people buy stuff off TikTok and shit like that. I bought something off TikTok one time and they scammed me for $100 and I was mad as a motherfucker. And they sent whatever I bought. I'm watching it. They sent my shit to Alaska. I was mad as a motherfucker. And that's probably what the tracking number, they just probably got a tracking number off anything. I'm like, oh, we gonna do this. And I don't fuck around. If it ain't nothing that I don't fuck with before, like, you know, a Finish Line or StockX or a JD Sports or wherever I buy my shoes and my clothes and shit from, I don't fuck with all that Temu and all that old TikTok shop and shit like that. I don't fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's all the same. And they're tracking everything. You talk about something, have your phone sitting next to you, talk about something, get on Facebook and see it only pop up in your feed.
Hell yep, it sure will. The fuck will.
Everything. We got Alexa and we got what's the Apple one? Siri, and we got all this AI. We see they saying now, oh, AI this is the dawn of it. It should been in effect for a very long time. There's cameras in places now that there's cameras in street lights. You notice when a lot of times when there's a crime committed, they go right to a camera and say, this is the footage of it. And that person be thinking they done did some shit slick on the side street. That shit be on the news like, damn, ain't that you? What? I didn't know there's a camera there. Everybody's phone has a camera. Do you think it just stops filming and recording when you stop? No. Like when you use your car, your information, it's another thing. Go in the store and buy something, then look at your Facebook feed. Advertisements sending around that shit is, why is this popping up on my timeline? So, you know, I do want to say I commend a lot of my brothers from my generation and whatnot, because we have gotten, I hear a lot of brothers saying, Kev, I want to go fishing. I want to plant a garden. I want to learn how to do some of this stuff. I see a lot of reels on social media of somebody showing you how to cut up something, you know, catching fish, catching shrimp, catching crab, whatever it is, showing you how to cut it up and cook it. I watch a lot of that stuff because I'm like, this is interesting. Let me see how this is done. So I think people just need to expand their knowledge base. Carrie is saying, she said, no, it was a scam. She noticed it was happening when a site that she was using to set up another business suddenly shut the online business that she had started down and kept her $2,000 she had given them. She had noticed how her accounts were clean and her finances were depleted. She's on Facebook talking about it. Wow.
Damn.
Hope she gets some justice.
That's a hurting feeling right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Kamar, what you got coming up this weekend, man?
This weekend I'll be over on Sherman and Capitol at the Sherman and Fond du Lac at the Sherman Park Grocery. He's got a block party going on. So I'm gonna be out there with my tent, hanging out, you know what I'm saying, showing the city love, doing ginger shots, all that good shit.
That's what's up. Y'all get out there and support that black grocery store and support this brother. Dion, what you going out of town? You got your boo on the road this week. What you doing?
No, she coming down here to fuck with me. I'm probably gonna I'm gonna do some barbecuing. Probably throw me a slab of ribs, some turkey legs and shit like that. And then I don't know, I might just chill out. I know Friday I'm gonna work a half a day Friday. I'm gonna go to the little event that the Truth having, you know what I'm saying, to go down there. They go give me some eye candy. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, I'm gonna go to Then after that, I'm gonna go to work Saturday to make that day up. I ain't gonna do no more work 4 hours. Then I'm gonna come home. I was gonna do the brakes on my pickup truck, but I'm just gonna wait till next week to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna clean the house up, and I'm gonna be headed to Huntsville, Alabama, in the next couple of weeks because we got to take her son back down there. So that's really about it. Maybe go down there and fuck with Bull, give me a free ginger shot or something.
Yeah, I would encourage people to enjoy Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a very, very beautiful place in the summer. It is festival season. It's a lot of festivals for grown people. And if you're from here, you pretty much know how to kind of navigate the environment, places that you should be in, places that you shouldn't be in, areas you should drive through, areas that you shouldn't, unless you are of that ilk. I would just encourage everybody to be safe. I'm going to be chilling. My son's 18th birthday is this weekend, which is crazy. I don't know where the time went. So I'm going to be that's going to probably be just everything once he gets back from Junior Olympics in Texas. It'll be about his birthday this weekend. And, it's the last one. It's before young adulthood. So that's a blessing from God. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I just want to tell people, be safe, pay attention to what's going on. Always look for the details, man. Stop being so quick to just fall for the hype and the hoopla. Like, do your own research. Even with what we say on this show, I don't tell you to go and run with it. I say, go see if we telling the truth. I think right now for us as a people, we really got to invest in knowledge and information. And then once we start acquiring it, we have to start sharing it with each other. And so this whole thing with politics, I think it's awakened a lot of people. And I can say about Outlaw Radio over the years, a lot of people who have been involved or been like supporters of the show who may have never voted before, ever, and never even cared about the process, have come around and said, you know what? After sitting here talking with y'all and listening at y'all, I'm going to vote. It's going to be the first time I ever voted. It's going to be the first time I ever cared. And when it doesn't go your way, don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Understand, man, you got to keep going. You got to persevere. You got to keep pushing. And then they say it'll get greater later. Understand that these political offices and all this stuff, none of this stuff is something that's going to save us. We have to save ourselves. I said people over politics because I truly believe people have more value than politics or political party. I feel like if we get to the point where we allow one group of people to dominate the leadership and the leadership positions, we get into situations that are unequal, uneven. And then your civil rights and your human rights, and your basic respect as a human being is taken. It's thrown away. You get depleted. You get treated like we get treated in this country a lot of times because we've been beaten into submission and we start not caring. And while we weren't caring, they were busy building up and fortifying their position. So now we really got to care. We really got to invest. And it's time for us to start to be critical thinkers. I know it's a lot to ask for, right? It's a deep dive, man. But I feel like doing something is better than doing nothing. And that's why I say I'm going to support this sister. I don't like to give endorsements for political candidates, but I'm going to support the sister. I'm going to vote for her. And then we'll figure out all the other shit after we get her in office. And I believe and I have faith that there's a lot of people who are going to feel that energy the closer we get to this date, man. Either way it go, stand up, be heard, be accounted for, man. Tell people what's on your mind, express yourself. Don't allow somebody to treat you badly, and don't treat other people badly. But always be about action. Because if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, then your ass is a motherfucking coon. I see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love.
Peace.
Outlaw.